What's up, vlog? Today we're gonna be doing an influencer's makeup tutorial, so yeah. Okay, if I sound a little funny, it's because I'm like kind of sick, but we are trying Embry Cortland's makeup tutorial, so yeah. Okay, first thing, she said that she does not use skincare before she does her makeup, which is new to me. I never do that, and I have not done that for like a couple years. So the first thing she's using are the Fenty Ease Drops, and these are gonna be too dark for me because I use these when I have a spray tan, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I'm just putting them in the same place as she's putting hers. She's putting hers here, a dot here, and also a little bit right here. Okay, perfect. And she's putting hers with a brush, and so that's what I'm gonna do too. Actually, I should probably look and see how she's blending hers out. But she's using Morphe brushes, and I also have Morphe brushes. They're not like the same set, but it's like they're like similar. Okay, so she's just blending it normally. Like, see, this is too dark for me, but hopefully by the end it'll kind of like measure out with all the like concealer powder and stuff. I have already watched this video, so kind of have like an idea of what it look like, the end result looks like, but not like obviously I haven't done it on myself. So yeah, she says she just does this, and she says she doesn't like to blend it into the center of her forehead. She kind of just blends it down. She says she does not like makeup on her forehead, or like she doesn't like a lot of product on her forehead, which I kind of get that because your forehead is the like thing that gets greasiest the most, I feel like, and like your chin. So, and she blends everything under her eyes, which I also do that because I do not like when people wear foundation and they don't blend it onto their eyes and then their eyes are like white. Next thing, she's doing more skin tint. She's actually using the Charlotte Tilbury one, the Flawless Filter. I'm using the e.l.f. one because I do not own that, but she said she uses hers more like a highlighter kind of, so she puts it right here and then kind of down like this, and then that, and then okay. Then she also does some here and here, and she puts some on her eyelid like this, and then she also puts some on her chin, and she just blends that the same as the other one. She just blends it normal. And for reference, her Ease Drops are in shade 6, mine are shade 9. So and her Charlotte Tilbury was in shade 2 and this is shade 3, so these are a closer shade. But this is really far off, which I was expecting it to be because she's not very tan skin tone, and neither am I. So, but this is from when I had spray tans. This is my mom's actually, because I used to have Halo Glow, but I broke it. Like I dropped it in their glass and it shattered. So yeah. Concealer, she is using the Hourglass one. I do not have that. I have the Rare Beauty one. I also have this NARS one, but it's like too dark, and her concealer is lighter than her base, and I want to make my face look a little bit lighter because it's too dark right now. So I'm putting my concealer the same places she puts hers, and honestly she kind of puts hers in the same place that I put mine, and she's putting it on her chin too, which is what I do. And let me see how she blends this. Blends her concealer on her chin and around her nose with a brush, like the same brush she does her foundation with. So that's what I'm doing. I've never done this before. So we'll see about this. But yeah, I wish she put concealer on her forehead because I always put mine right there, and I have a pimple right here, but she doesn't cover up her acne. She doesn't really have any. Okay, now for the part that I don't like. She blends her concealer with her fingers under her eyes. So I've also never done this before. I don't like this. I mean, honestly, it looks good, and it's blending it a lot faster than using a beauty blender. Okay, I didn't see this, but she actually does cover up her stuff on her acne, and she uses a darker concealer. So I'm using this NARS one, but she's using the House Labs, I think. I should have like a little bit of stuff on my forehead. I think those are the only two right now, but she blends them in with her finger too. So, which I do that with all my pimples, because if you use a beauty blender or a brush to cover up your pimples, it just wipes it all off and it doesn't do anything. So okay, I think that's good. Now she's moving on to bronzer. She used the Ilia bronzer stick. I don't have that. I'm using this YSL one, or LYS, not YSL. And because I have two bronzer sticks, one's cool tone, one's warm tone, and her bronzer is very warm tone. So she puts it right here. Okay. Right here. Those are very much not even. It's fine. I'll make it even when I blend it. And then she does here on her forehead. And here on her jawline. And then she also does this. This bronzer is definitely darker than hers. But you know, it's fine. And then I'm gonna try to use the tip of this to do lines like she does, but just line like this and like this, and then she goes straight across. Why is it not doing anything? Okay, this is mine's a little too far up on my nose. And then she also does a line down there. Okay, I'm gonna blend this because it's gonna take a while. And I forgot one other place she puts it is, she puts some right here for natural eyeshadow. Okay, now she's going in with actually more bronzer, but she's using the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand, and I don't have that, so I'm using the Say one because this is the only liquid bronzer I have. But she puts a dot right here. I'm just drawing a dot because obviously the Charlotte Tilbury one like makes a dot. A dot right here, and then she does a line here and there, and then she also does a dot here and here. Oh crap, my hair is in it. And then, sorry. And then she's also doing a line here and here. Here. Okay. This, I'm gonna be very bronzed. She basically just blends it like normal. She just kind of blends it the same way she blended her other one. But this one is definitely more cool tone, which is good because the Charlotte Tilbury one is cool tone too, I feel like. This one, I really like both of the bronzers I'm using today because they're very easy to blend. And yeah, this one, okay, and then for her forehead one, she blends it only down. She does not blend it inward. She blends her nose contour with her finger. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, we're just not gonna look at the neck match. Pretend you don't see that. So, last chance, last dance. I have that song stuck in my head because I was watching America's Sweethearts, the DCC show, and now that song stuck in my head because that was one of their solos. I swear, I am not this pale. Just on camera, my face is very tan right now, and so I'm not gonna lie about that, but my chest is actually not that pale. I promise. Not that ghostly. Now for, I think this is her last nose contour, but she does a dot here and a little right there, and she blends it this also with her fingers, but she blends it like this. Like she says she blends it in a rainbow, so that's what I'm doing. I'm blending it like a rainbow. And then she does the same thing with this one, I believe. She's doing blush, and she's using the Charlotte Tilbury in Pink Gasm, like the light one in Pink Gasm. I don't have that, so I'm using this e.l.f. blush, and they're kind of the same shade. And she puts a dot up here. Yeah, these are similar shades, I would say. So, and she blends it literally kind of just right there and up. She does not bring it very far in, so I'm gonna try not to do that. She's not a blush girl. I'm a blush girl. I love blush. It's my favorite. I do like the pinkest of pink blush, and yeah. But I feel like you're either a bronzer person or a blush person, and I'm definitely a blush person because I feel like bronzer does not look the best on me. Like, I don't know if it's just that I haven't figured out how to do it very well yet, but I'm definitely a blush girl. Probably also just because it's pink. Like, it's the color on your face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this looks very similar to how hers looked. She does very detailed setting powder, so I'm gonna kind of have to do this like one step at a time. But I'm using the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder, and she's using the One Size setting powder. They're the same color, but obviously not the same brand. So she says she, okay, let me, trying to like run that, okay, across, here we go. She says she lines this part up, oh, I'm gonna do this side first, with her like here, and pats it across like that. Okay, that's how she did hers. I'm gonna try to do this side real quick, and then I'm trying to like get the line down like hers was. Okay, there. And it just goes across like that. She's lining her nose, so she's like going like this, like that. And then same thing on this side. I'm gonna take some of the powder from this side, because I think I did a little too much, but it's fine. She's drawing a line down like that. So let's see, make sure these are even. She's just putting more under her eyes, but not in like any particular way. She's just like going like this. Guys, she uses a lot of setting powder, but it like makes it look good. So she is doing this. She's making a line like this. Yeah, could have to do more than that. She said she makes a noticeable line like that, and then she kind of blends it down like this. So that's what I'm doing too. So now she says she just gets a tiny bit more, and she kind of is just like now basically doing like pressed powder, but she's using the same like one size powder, but she's just like using it more like a pressed powder. And she does her chin, her smile lines, and then just by her nose a little bit. Okay, now she is just getting a little bit more, and she is doing like the pressed type powder on her forehead because she actually does not use setting spray, so she says she just puts this everywhere so that it stays, obviously. And I don't really love setting spray. The only time I use setting spray is like if I feel like my face looks too matte, then I like use setting spray to bring back like the glowiness. Well, she still has not blended out her powder yet, but she's doing blush, and she's actually using a Kosas one, and it's kind of like a corally shade, but I don't have a powder. Like, this is my only powder blush that I have, so I'm just gonna use like a tiny bit of it so that the blush shade doesn't get messed up. But she literally just puts it like that. So that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, I think that's good. It's not too pinkish. Now she's doing mascara, and I don't have either of the mascara that she's using, but she is just curling her eyelashes, and then she's using the waterproof BTS by Too Faced, and then she's also using the extra large Tartelette. I don't have either of those, so I'm just gonna be doing my lashes with how I usually do them. She's doing eyebrows. I don't own an eyebrow pencil, but she literally just draws like a tiny line right here, and that's all. But she's using the Anastasia brow freeze, and I don't have that, but all she does is basically comb through her eyebrows with this. And that is okay. And then she just takes the top of her little spoolie and just combs down those hairs that she kind of stuck straight up, and just goes like that. So not really anything crazy. Basically, it's basically what I do. Let's see. Let's make sure these look. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm almost out of it. Oh, I like doing this. Look. Okay, enough distraction. Okay, so she looks really good with eyeliner. I like don't, in my opinion, but she draws a little line right here out, like a tiny little line, and then connects it inward. So that's what I'm gonna do, but I'm not gonna be able to video because obviously I won't be able to see. Guys, this looks so bad because basically she's using a liquid liner and I'm not, because I don't have a liquid liner. So I'm just using this literally CoverGirl black eyeliner. But she did a wing, and then she kind of like brings it in, and I had to like smudge mine out so it didn't look so crazy. But I'm gonna put on bottom mascara because she has like very naturally dark bottom lashes. So I'm gonna put on some bottom mascara because I think that'll make it look better. Okay, it definitely looks a little better with the bottom mascara. So yeah. I just like don't look good with like dark eyes. Yeah, no, but it's okay. She's using powder bronzer. She's using the Charlotte Tilbury one. This is the only one I have, so I'm using this one. But she's using like this really tiny brush to go under here, but I don't have one, so I'm just gonna be using this Q-tip. So yeah, hopefully this works too. And she is literally just going right here and putting bronzer. She says it's to blend the under eye, and now I'm just gonna rub that because she blends it with, she puts it on with the tiny brush and then she blends it with her finger. So yeah. I need to get more, I think. Okay. I don't care what people price. Okay. I think that's good. She's using that same bronzer with like a little fluffy brush like this. And she is just putting it right here. Like eyeshadow. And then she says she just blends it in a little bit. Like that. And blend it in. Just a little bit. I definitely think the most iconic part of her look is definitely like her eyes, because they're so like, they pop so much. I think the reason that the dark doesn't look good on mine is because she has very dark brown eyes and I have very light eyes, so I just don't think it meshes very well. But it's taking her Charlotte Tilbury Halo Glow again, and she says she just puts a little bit on her finger and she is just tapping this on her eyelid from where she took her mascara off at, like when she wiped off the residue, which I didn't have to do that today, so it didn't really take off anything. So I was not super messy with mine. So yeah, for highlighter she's using the Charlotte Tilbury powder one, but I don't have that, so I'm using Cookie, and they're kind of the same color. But she puts it right here, and she says to make sure it stays inner, like not touching your eyeshadow, which makes sense. Let me wipe this onto my other finger. Okay. And she's using her finger for this too. So that's why I'm using my finger. And then she's about to do nose highlighter, but I need to see how she does it. And again, she's using a super tiny brush that I don't have, so I'm just gonna use a Q-tip to put on, and she puts it on the tip of her nose right here. And she's still using the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. And then she's also doing on the bridge of her nose. So now she's doing powder bronzer, and she said she barely uses any. She taps it in 2 times. I'm using this one again. She's using the Charlotte Tilbury one. And she is using this to just blend in that little line from where her powder was. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, and she kind of blends it down here too, or she brings it down to there. She also just gets a little fluffy brush like this and wipes under her eyes to blend all the lines from her under eye powder. Now she gets she uses her little tiny brush that I don't have, and she says she puts this on top of her eyeliner so it doesn't, and she also puts it on the inner, but I did not do the inner eyeliner because I don't know, I just didn't want to because I knew it would look really bad on me because we don't have the same eye shape. I have more round eyes, she's more oval, I think. But so she just does that with the powder on, and then she wipes off the brush and does it without that. She's using a big powder puff, and she said she's just getting I put too much, so I'm trying to get it off. But she said she just puts this on top of her cheeks, and she's just using it like a pressed powder, not like a loose powder. So, and she kind of just puts this all over her face. For her lips, she she's using the Makeup by Mario one. I have a Makeup by Mario one, but it is not even close to the shade she's using. I don't think. Wait, let me make sure. She said hers was in shade Danielle. No, mine's in shade mauve. Mine's like a dark, almost brown. And so I'm just gonna use this next one because it's closer to the shade that she's using. Okay. And she does a pretty thick line like that. And then okay, that's like how hers is. And then she kind of goes like this. And like colors that inner part kind of more in. And she does that on the top too. And then she does it a little bit right there. And then she goes like this to blend that together. A Glossier like gloss type balm on the outside right here. And then on the inside, she puts the Glossier balm.com. And I have one of those, but it's like the old formula and it's not like a lip gloss at all. And it would not look good. So I'm using this Laneige in Berry because it's similar to the color she's using. So that's how I'm using it. Okay. Oh my gosh, I always freaking drop stuff. Okay, so the lip color is not super close to hers, but I just tried it in. It's the best that I have that's closest to it, so yeah. Okay guys, I'm finished. This is the end result where, let's see, do I look like her? No, I don't. She's drop dead gorgeous. But I think the makeup looks good other than the fact that this is not a shade match to me right now because it's definitely way too tan. Also, don't look at my hair. It's been air drying this whole time. So we're just not gonna mind that. But I think I'm gonna make this into a series and I'm gonna start doing like a lot of different ones. So yeah. Here is Embry Cortland's makeup routine on me. Looks pretty good. Sorry, I need to get better lighting in my bathroom because it's pretty bad. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. Peace out, vlog.